Good morning. This is Andrew G doing the Night Watch challenge, and we're going to be making a challenge lock. It's going to be going out to Mountain Mick, and it'll be part of my entry to the Western Massacre giveaway. So shout out to him and Mountain Mick. Sorry, I do that every time I see your name. If you're watching this video, don't watch till after I send you the challenge lock and you get into it, or else, that's cheating. So let's get into it. I'll be making challenge lock out of this Defiant lock. First, let's go ahead and pick it and see what it has in it. Nothing on 1, nothing on 2, nothing on 3. I think 5 just made a good little click. So did 4. Should have started from the back. And then I'm in a false set, which I didn't expect out of just a random lock here. I feel it. I'm gonna. Okay. I almost felt like I had to give manual counter rotation, which I am not used to. Just gotta find the binder here. Let's try that again. That was a little rough there. This is my first time picking this lock, and I was not really expecting spools in there. So there's a little more in there than kind of expected. A little expecting all standard pins. That time I overset. I was trying to get into my actual challenge lock stuff and got a little overzealous with the picking. There we go. Alright, we got it. So, I did get into a false set, so we'll see what's in there. But we are doing the, let's see if you can see it. Oof. Defiant. Don't know what I'm going to name it yet. But I'm going to try to do this without using a pusher, a plug follower. I'm just hoping that I can catch them on the way out here. Yep. 5 is a spool. 4 is standard. 3 is a spool. 2 is standard. I think 1 is a spool as well. Yep, it is. So 3 spools in 1, 3, and 5. And anything on these pins. Let me grab the key actually. No, 1 standard, 2 standard. Yeah, I'm guessing they're all standard. So, that actually took a little longer to get this lock open than I expected. Keyway is very weird. They're kind of all open. Keyway is open too, but the actual chambers are connected. So I'm going to set those off to the side. My plan is to have pretty much none of those to stay in it. So I'm going to leave those over there. That's enough picking for me right now, because that lock, it was a little harder than I expected, but like I said, hopefully it didn't take too long. Probably 4 minutes, 5 minutes. Longer than I would have wanted. But anyway, let's get into it. So, it's a 5-pin. It's definitely not what I wanted. I wanted a 6-pin. So, I'm going to try to make a decent challenge lock out of a 5-pin. So, I kind of think about my challenge log before I do it. So I was making this morning before I started this to kind of get an idea of what I wanted. Backwards T-pin on 1, just a serrated. I have 3 serrated key pins. Serrated. I don't know what you want to call that. But that shape. Around that. Torpedo-ish. Serrated, and then kind of a double spool, not really serrated. I want 2 thick spools, and then 1 with just a pretty much standard with a shorter tip, and then this will be our standard driver. Just keep everything in place, and then hopefully a pin and pin with just like a 1 serration on that one. So let's get into it and see if we can actually make that happen. Let's go this way real quick. So we are doing this in my garage and doing it on the pool table, because why not? Alright, I just have my actual rod down here. There it is. And let's get back into it. Alright. Let's try to set you back up. Better here. Alright. That's close. That's close. So, first off, let me just see the sizes here. This is a little big, but that's normal for me. This is a 1/8. So Home Depot had standard. This is the smallest I could get. I have to shave it down a little bit, no matter what I'm doing, to get the size I want. So we'll do that. I'll set it over there. This is gonna be a longer video, by the way. I know the night watch is about 30 minutes, but I'm gonna make it longer. When I post it on YouTube, I'm going to cut it up into different parts. So 5-pin, I showed you the plan. Let's get into it. I'm gonna try to, so you get this is like $7 for, what, 3 feet, 4 feet? I can't remember. I'm a little short on it now. But I'm just trying to measure out kind of the height of it. I made a mistake last time with my pins. I just gotta grab. Okay. Grab pliers. Alright, let's set this bag down. Can't believe I forgot them. Alright. Always cut a little bit. If you cut longer than what you actually want, what stays in the rotary, and it's brass, so it'll pop off pretty easily. So if you cut off a little bit more, you can take that out, get it in there. There you go. I have my wrong size bit. I say that. So this is a process. Alright. This is the second one I've ever done. The first one I sent to lock picking engineer, and hopefully he'll get back to me with tips and tricks of what I did, what I didn't do, or what I could have done, just to make it a little bit harder on whoever's getting my lock. Okay, turn that down. I'm looking for something. Oh well. Just tighten up. A quarter turn's fine. That's what I was looking for, but it's sitting around here somewhere. Alright. We're going to go with our just the T-pin first. Alright. So it might be a little loud. Now I'll show you aftermath. Really all we need is a good old Dremel, some diamond files, just a little sandpaper. This is 1000 grit. Probably should go lower. 320. I was kind of looking for a 600 range, but get what you can get. I don't know why I couldn't find 600. And then I found the jeweler saw. This is the tiniest, you can't really see it, tiniest little blade. And and that'll help with those serrated pins, because use anything else it's gonna turn into a spool really quickly. So recommended anytime if you're just starting to get into challenge locks. Recommend jeweler saw. It's 12, 15, somewhere around there, bucks to get it on Amazon, and it was worth it. It worked so much better than anything else I ever tried. So let's get into it. We're going to start with the T-pin. It's going to be a little loud. And so we go with okay. Okay, so I was just making my cuts to where I want the T-pin to end, where the end of the pin is, and then where the actual T part starts. So when I start sanding it down, I don't get too far and just make it into a tiny little stick, because I've done that before. So I did that. I could probably sand it down a little bit more. So sand down the little edge where your pliers or whatever you use to cut the brass off. It leaves a little wedge, and it's easier if you just cut that a little bit. I'm going to sand that down. If it's a real big wedge, which it kind of is right now, you can just use the file, turn it up a little bit, and then just get that edge going till it seems nice and flat for you. There you go. Whoop, well, wrong way. Yeah, nice and flat. And now this, like I said, this brass is a little bit bigger than the hole that we wanted in. So we'll go ahead and just knock that down a hair. Now I like to test it. Just grab your pin. Yeah, it still needs to get a little bit further. Okay, let's see now. Yeah, so that fits through good. So that means the actual sanding, filing down of it's good. Now I can actually make the shape. Go back and make this divot a little bit bigger for me. Nice and clean. Okay. Yep. And with that, we got ourselves a little, let me see if I can get it up to this camera here. Focus in on my hand. It doesn't want to. Sorry about that. Thought it would. There it goes. A little bit. But anyway, little T-pin. So that'll be our first. Now, what got me into lock picking? I really don't know. I've been doing it for about a couple months now, but we've been doing it off and on for a couple years, but I took a pretty hard off. Forgot I did that with pliers. And when I came back, I got into it much bigger. I realized that my Amazon picks I had when I first started were horrible. They're not horrible. They can work. But getting yourself just sucking it up, getting yourself a nice little set, doesn't have to be a lot, works very well. Four's gonna be standard. So yeah, just grab yourself a little. It just, I don't recommend more than 2 rakes. That's just my opinion. I feel like I've been a very single pin picking person. So when it comes to raking, it's just not really my style. And I really liked when I got into the group of locks that you can't rake. Because I look at it more like it's almost a puzzle. Lock picking is. Each lock's a new puzzle for me. Let me see if that's far enough. Yeah, that's good. So that was the T-pin. I'll show you the pins. Actually, let me see. If I aim this down at here, you can see the T-pin, right? There. That's what we just made. And it'll go in just like that. There we go. Alright. So next, we're going with the We'll go with the rounded tip one here. Let's get it down to size first. Tip. Alright, let's see if that fits. Still a little bit big. That's fine. Yeah, it fits. Might be a little tight at the very tip, but it'll work for our purposes here. Let's get this going. Get the little ball shape a little bit more. And then we're gonna switch to the side and go in about right. There we go. Now let's don't do that. Alright, so this one is going to do that again to me. That's fine. Little torpedo shape. And we'll do that backwards. I might add a little more groove into that if I can. If not, we'll survive, but... And I'll go back and sand these down a little bit. Just the end that cut off is normally a little pointy, has little rough edges on it. Just sand those down. 3. Three and 5 are going to be my deep cuts. So we're going to go 3, double spool. Okay. Alright. So, I'm gonna cut off. Make sure I get enough this time. It was close last time. Oh yeah, that's plenty. I don't know where that wrench went. But yeah, I'm up to blue belt, about to get purple. And oh, I've been enjoying it. Don't have as much locks as I need. Well, I have as much locks as I need, don't have as much locks as I want. Of course, that's going to be how it is all the time. Hopefully, in a little while, I'm going to be trying for the Berserker challenge. I got a few locks coming in that should work with it. And then I have 2 purple locks coming in. I'm going to try to get into other different types of locks other than dimple, other than pin and tumbler. I kind of want dimple locks and disc titanium are the 2 I kind of want to go towards. So let's get into it. So this one's going to be, hopefully, our like double spool. Sorry, my drawings are horrible. So double spool, longer pin, and that one's going to have counter milling underneath. So hopefully that all works out. Let's get this pin shaped up first. See the shape here. Darn. Almost there. Still. I was slacking this time. That should work. So okay. So now I gotta see what kind of length I have. I can make it a little longer than this, than the natural. So with my driver pins, I made a mistake last time that they all come about the same size, and to get the shapes I wanted, I made them longer, a little bit longer. I think a little bit. It could have been a lot when it comes to this stuff this small. So I made it a little bit longer, put it all back together, and the key doesn't fit because the springs get compressed in the back. Either that, or you ruin the springs, and if you take it back out, if you have to take it apart again, those springs are all crushed. So my first one got like that. I'm trying to do a little better on this one. So warning, if you're making your first challenge log, don't make your driver pins too long. Try to stay in that a little bit longer, maybe, but not too much. I'm not really worrying where I'm putting the old pins, because none of them, none of them are going back in this lock. All these are going to be scratch pins. Alright, kind of got my edges where I wanted them to be, and now let me see what kind of space I have with this. Not much. Let me see if I have a better option here. Actually, I got another tool that might work better. Don't judge my methods, okay? And don't try it at home. Actually, I'm changing up shape now. As I was cutting that one, I think I'm going to change my shape up a little bit. Alright. I switched that one up a little bit. We made it into a, let me put it down here. So, it's that one right there, Phil. Whoop, that one. So I made it into almost a double barrel. But then I put a serration, instead of it being a square in there, I put a circle and then a serration through the middle of the circle. Is it going to be good? Only one way to find out. And that's the fun thing about challenge logs. You're making something and then you send it out into the community and let other people try your creation. You can either do it in just a fun way, a creative way, or trying to do it just to be kind of an ass and make it very difficult, which I like to do sometimes. So that's why I kind of want tips, tricks on how to make challenge logs, how to get better at them, because I like to work with my hands and try to do stuff like this. I think it's fun. I like to pick locks. I was about to say because it's cheaper, but I don't think it is. After I have all my the files, the jewelry saw, a lot of people already have a rotary tool in their house. So if you already have one or in your garage, then that's no cost to you. I had one, didn't have attachments, nothing would fit, so I had to get another one. Which still is only $40-50 and it works fine. This one is wireless. I have a charger hooked up to it now. I wouldn't recommend it. It dies midway through a lock. I mean, when it's charged, it works great. But yeah, it dies midway through a lock, and that always makes it a little rough to get through. So, I got pin 3 out. Pin 4 is going to be standard. And then pin 5, I have a T-pin. Oh, I have a pin and pin. I'm sitting here in my garage, and the door's wide open, and a bug flew at me. So sorry about that. So pin and pin. So basically what pin and pin is I get a little piece of this rod, just like always, except for I cut it, I drill it a hole right through the center with, now I'm blanking on where I stuck it. There it is. Just basically the tiniest little drill bit you can find. It's a 1/16. It goes right through it goes perfectly through and leaves enough on the edges to be able to put serrations, because I like to put serrations on my pin and pins. I've only done one, so I'm saying that like I'm a pro, but I'm not. I just watched some videos, and why not put serrations on it while you're at it? Just make it a little more difficult, because that's what we're here to do. Have fun at other people's expense a little bit. In a fun way. In a fun way. Gotta reiterate that. We're gonna have this piece out. So, for my last pin and pin, I drilled a hole straight through the rod, but I only used about half the rod. So, I still have a little piece with the tiniest little hole in it. So we're gonna see if I can make that work instead of trying to make a whole new one, because it is 12 o'clock. My wife is sleeping. My baby is sleeping. And I don't know how much longer that will be. But once she wakes up, I gotta go get her. So, what's going on with this? It just was not tightening up whatsoever. So you don't need a super long piece for the pin, not the T-pin part, but the regular pin. Because it's literally there just to tie up the chamber, and for the T part to go through smoothly. And if that part doesn't have much room to wiggle, then it's really not doing too much for a pin and pin. So you make it small enough to where the chamber gets caught on it. Well, long enough, but then you want it shorter than that, so your T-pin has some flex. And after I make this pin, I'll probably stop it for today. And then tomorrow I'll come back, do the key pins, and then put it together and see how we did. I'll try to pick it again. Tomorrow, key pins, the counter milling on the first 3 chambers, and then we'll see how I did. We'll before I send it off to this to Mountain. All right, let me file this down. It's not the prettiest pin, but I don't think that matters too much. I think we'll get away without it being super pretty. And it got me again. Anyway, I like to sandpaper these up. Should look a little prettier now. So now, just put a few serrations in it. Alright, and that last one is what I'm going to take this off with. So, there we go. And if you do put serrations on your T-pin, on your pin end pins, just make sure you don't go too deep, okay? that'll cause a whole different problem. All right. Cool. Did that piece fall out? No, okay. Let's see if I have an extra little piece that I can make into a T-pin. So, yeah, that'll work. Okay. Make sure that's long enough. Oh, that's plenty. File it down first. Get all these smooth edges back on here. It looked a little sideways. That works. So, grab yourself a pin. So, we're going to go about right. Let me just make sure that's the right size before I make this whole thing. A little shorter than that. Let me see how it's going to look with a T-fin. That's okay. I can make it work. So, let's get one more line in here. Okay. Now with that, I'm just going to start. And you can actually bump it up a little bit since you're making it soak down. Okay, I flung it out, but everything's still intact. So, with that, I might have to end it there, and I'll be back again to make the rest of this. Alright, signing off.